What you are viewing is the front page of the Socialist Workers' Party website, Socialist Workers' Party UK, October 14th, 2023. Free Palestine, why we say by any means necessary. Note, not any legal means. Following the assault on Israelis by the Palestinian resistance, there are those who say a violent fight back is never justified. Isabel Ringrose explains that the oppressed have a right to take up arms against their colonisers, and apparently to rape women and to murder teenagers and others at a festival, a music festival. That's what they mean by any means necessary, not any legal means, any means including mass murder. Those familiar with the rhetoric of these lunatics, especially people domiciled in Britain, will be familiar with this phrase as well, by any means necessary. Usually it refers to stopping the racists and fascists. Here it goes on, uprisings against colonial rule are violent because violence is an inherent part of imperialism and colonialism, like the violence that transformed Africans from living in mud huts into civilised communities, in Rhodesia for example. Colonialism means states viciously enforcing their rule, like the rule of law, snatching resources for themselves and subjugating citizens to dire inequality and reigns of terror, and giving them mobile phones, motor cars, all sorts of things. This drivel goes on and on and on. The slave who murders the slave master, who tortures the master's house and perhaps kills the civilian, in quotation marks, slaver's family and servants, is wholly justified in their act. I'll read that again without the qualification. The slave who murders the slave master, who tortures the master's house and perhaps kills the civilian slaver's family and servants, is wholly justified in their act. So, murder is justified. Murder of babies, wholly justified. There's all sorts of flim-flam here, but when they talk about colonialism and protecting indigenous peoples, they don't mean the indigenous peoples of Europe or Britain or Ireland, for example. We are supposed to allowing untold numbers of colonisers from all over the world. Colonisers they claim are asylum seekers, and any resistance is of course racist. There's a bit here about Mau Mau. By 1952, the Mau Mau, also known as the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, began a campaign of attacks against settlers. I'll put a link to an article I published about that, which, I mean, Mau Mau was just insane. A complete scam. So this is what the Israelis are facing. Now, I'm not in any way trying to justify the treatment of Palestinians by the Zionists. Anyone who's studied my writings over the years, indeed over the decades now, will realise I am totally unsympathetic to them. I've been branded anti-Semitic more than once and referred to the authorities by scumbag Zionists in the Anglo-Jewish establishment, but what we're seeing here is something entirely different. How anyone can claim that that insane attack on the festival was justified beggars belief.